You're here because you're a compassionate rider who's done with feeling like there's a huge mystery around riding and communicating with your horse. And I know you promised yourself you weren't going to watch another webinar or sign up for yet another thing. So I'm going to make sure this gives you what you've been looking for. That one thing that's the domino that finally creates momentum for you and your horse. So here's a disclaimer. What I'm going to share with you is so simple, so little time it takes, and so doable that you're going to be tempted to think, I can't possibly work. Yeah, I see you. You've gotten into a pattern of complicating things and overworking yourself for so long that's going to feel weird to just let go, to do less, to allow instead of push. And in fact, what we're going to get into today is going to help any training system that you are implementing work that much better. So let me ask you a simple question. Are you ready to actually have what you've been pushing for? And are you willing to do less to have it? Let's start by taking a simple evaluation. Answer either yes or no to the following questions. Grab a piece of paper and write it down. Y or an N will tally your score at the end. Okay, do you feel like you're not able to live up to the full potential of your horse? Like you're working hard, going in the wrong direction, and none of your work is paying off? Yes or no? Do you have a horse but you're so frustrated that you don't enjoy riding? Are you constantly pushing yourself to get out there and work with your horse? Or maybe avoiding him or her altogether, always finding something else to do? Are you worried that you're hurting your horse by not knowing what you're doing? Are you having attended clinic after clinic roller coaster and would like to have consistent, predictable progress with your horse? Oh, and it's all taking way too long. Are you tired of making little or no progress with your horse? And do you worry that because you're stuck and don't know the next step to take, that your horse is frustrated with you and wishes you'd just hurry up and get it all figured out? Are you beginning to realize that maybe you aren't as clear as you thought you were with your communication, your riding, or your movement, maybe all three? And do you feel like the more time you spend with your horse, the less he or she bonds with you? Do you worry that your horse will be a horse and cause you to get injured? Do you have an ugly feeling inside? Scared because you just never know. Is it going to be a good ride or is it going to be a bad ride? Deep down, are you beginning to suspect that training that you're doing and your riding model might be broken, but you have no idea what to replace it with? If you've got 2 or more yeses on your paper, I've got good news and I've got better news. The good news is that none of the problems I just shared with you is the real issue, and therefore you don't need to fix each one individually. The better news is that I'm going to help you go deeper to where all these seemingly separate problems originate so you can fix the root cause. Are you ready? Great. By the way, I'm Chris Adderson. I'm the founder of forthehorse.com. And I've been a human and horse movement professional since I was 15 and a forever student of the horse. I've been featured on CBC television, Country Canada, and I'm a recipient of the prestigious Shining World Compassion Award for Horses. And what I'm about to share with you is what I've distilled over 40 years of professional dance, teaching horsemanship and riding clinics around the world, and scouring the globe to study with the best pioneers in their field, from natural horsemanship to classical dressage, including Ray Hunt, Peggy Cummings, and George Melleroni. I've always kept what is considered for the horse at the forefront, from starting young horses up to the highest levels of dressage. add with that real life experience as I tested these principles in my own herd of many rescued and broken horses and ended up with a time-tested method. And of course, the horses themselves are my greatest teachers. One in particular named Merlin, who I started under saddle, rehabilitated him after an injury, and brought him to my top-level dream horse. He taught me the most. I hope you're ready to finally relax and let go of the struggles so you can have ease and confidence about your horse. So let's get started. Number 1, get clarity. If you're not riding like you want to, I can all but guarantee you have a clarity problem. Most people think they're clear about why they and their horse aren't living up to their full potential, but they're not. I'll give you an example. One of our students, Janice, came to us because she had been trying to improve her horse's gait without force. For 5 years, she'd been on the quest to make this shift with comfort and ease for her and her horse. And she'd sunk multiple thousands of dollars into going to clinics, lessons, retreats, tack, online courses, and all that stuff. The most painful thing about this was that she was just getting enough results that she couldn't totally throw it out. But it was costing her money and time, and most of all, her confidence with her horse. You have to know this about Janice. She's a classic type A, smart as a whip, worked with horses all her life, and also a competition judge. And she wanted nothing but the best for her horse. So the fact that she couldn't ride with ease and comfort and improve her horse's gaits, despite all her expertise, was maddening. And right on our Harmonize session, it became obvious that she was approaching things from a very mechanical perspective, trying to get her body and her horse to perform certain movements the way others performed them. A much more obvious process for her, where there was much more flow, ease, and comfort, was tuning in with her body and how it preferred to move, her patterns, and then her horse's body, and matching the two together. This creates mind-body elasticity, so she could move more easily with her horse instead. Literally, from the Harmony session, the path was clearer. Janice chose to work with us, and within the first week, she had figured out her body and how to ride. And the part that blew her mind was how effortless it was now that she had clarity on herself and what her horse most wanted from her. Your takeaway from here is that you're probably close to where you need to be, but because you're not clear, you're not able to effectively communicate to your horse. Either you've turned communication robotic, treating your horse like it's a piece of mechanical equipment without regarding its unique style or movement, or you're wishy-washy with your communication and your horse is frustrated because it has no idea what you actually want it to do. Clarity helps you know exactly what you do, how to do it, and the only pieces you need to focus on to get results almost immediately, so you both feel fantastic having invested the time with each other. And that brings me to my next point. Number 2, it all starts with confidence. A lot of folks come to us struggling because they're trying their heart out, jumping from instructor to instructor, maybe even jumping from horse to horse. Others are going on their own with no idea how to push ahead without a step-by-step process or how to bounce back after facing down the fear of a terrible injury. Here's the issue. Situations, environments, performance on any given day changes constantly, right? If you want to have consistent progress with your horse, then you have to go a layer deeper from a multidisciplinary approach and look at your confidence, both mentally and physically. This is the same shift we help Carrie make. She's a rider who's been riding for many years. I got on a call with her personally, and she told me that what she really wanted was to be able to keep up with her fast mare and ride her like she was born to run. She also wanted to unlock the mystery of lateral movements so she and her horse could fully play. So I asked her more questions. She revealed her horse was fast and wiggly all the time, and she was in constant pain, both when she was riding and in her daily activities. In other words, she thought her problem was a bad fit between her and her horse. But I was listening for not just what she was telling me, but for what she wasn't seeing. And what I quickly realized is that for all her years riding and enjoying horses, her real problem wasn't an ill-fitting horse, but that she lacked confidence because she didn't have the clarity around what the horse needed from her. And because she believed that her horse was fast and wiggly, it was showing up totally in her movement and how she communicated with her horse. Literally in 45 minutes, I helped her understand more deeply how she really moved and which parts of it resonated most with her and her horse. She wrote to me soon afterwards, before she'd had a chance to implement 99% of our system. Wow, that's fantastic. I can't tell you enough how it helps me. It's never been so clear. That's from the same rider and the same horse. She later used our movement method to get rapid results in not just one, but all aspects of her life, like canoeing, cycling, playing the guitar, and yoga. It's so easy. Imagine if you knew how to ride like the wind and communicate with your horse in a way that made your horse admire you and want to be with you. When we work with students to develop a riding strategy, we teach you how to be confident with your horse in all aspects, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. It's like a dance between two partners who know each other inside out, and it never ends. That's harmony with your horse. What we helped Carrie learn to do was to become a reliable dance partner for her horse, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities and excitement. And in order for you to experience how powerful this is, we'd have to go through a process with you, because this isn't something you can do it yourself. Trust me, I've tried to teach that way, and everyone thinks they're getting it, but their subconscious blocks and inability to see their own movements will often prevent them from doing it right. I don't even ride my own horses without one of my coaches walking me through my own system. Because riding harmoniously is like open heart surgery, right? You could be the best surgeon in the world, but you need someone else to operate on your heart because you just don't have the necessary perspective. 3, communicate. I need to ask you to ask yourself a simple question. Do you want to spend 80% of your time trying to figure out what's not working with your horse and why? Or 80% of your time riding, building your physique and your horse's physique, bonding with your horse and getting better results? Because there are 2 ways to get to having a dream horse. You can go the slow route. Little by little, fix and tweak problem areas over many, many years. I know, I did it. Which means you have to find an instructor skilled in your specific problem, which can take forever, jumping from one to the next. I know that I certainly traveled the world looking for someone who could help me physique my dream horse. And then once the problem gets fixed, as a new one pops up, there's a huge amount of money and time without ever really fixing the underlying issues that are creating all these problems to begin with. If you're spending $25,000 a year over the course of 10 years, that would be $250,000. And it's not just the money you're losing, you're also losing time. Even though horses have long lives, do you really want to spend the majority of it focusing on fixing little problems? Or do you want to address the underlying problem and get to the freedom and joy of riding and playing with your horse? On the other hand, you can go the fast route to get to the same goal. With our program, our students don't focus on slowly and painfully correcting each little problem. They learn a multidisciplinary, integrative approach that helps them to get clarity on the exact movement and perspective that they need to shift for everything to fall into place. This isn't just horse training. Now that you see how time and money and push shakes down, you'll want to know, oh, what do I need to get those kinds of results? So listen up, because I'm pretty sure my answer will surprise you. Your horse doesn't care if you're a dressage trudge, if you've owned horses all your life, or if you're an expert. They don't bond with you because of your treats, your food, your ability to get their respect. They do care about what it feels like to be with you, how the two of you move and meld together. Which is why when I work with our students, we help them to get to the root of what's keeping them from their horse stuck and frustrated. When we help you, we design your customized, unique movement, the one that will help you and your horse meld together and communicate effectively. This helps build confidence in your horsemanship and deep bonding with your horse. From the very beginning, it's a win-win, so you can build trust, bonding, and finally momentum. And as momentum builds, your results are fueled. So are you thinking right now, that's bringing up all kinds of fear around, what if I don't get results? Look, this is why we get each of our students to look deeply, eye to eye with themselves and their horses. Because if you aren't dealing with your underlying fears and belief system, no amount of strategy or technique is going to work for you. Because you're going to keep feeling nervous or apprehensive. And every normal little misstep or miscommunication will confirm your fears. And when you get to doing something, chances are you'll misinterpret the results and self-sabotage by learning the wrong lesson. Most riders don't have their dream horse or aren't enjoying the ride like they want to because they're struggling with shame or because they think they have zero capability to become a great rider for their horse. I already told you Janice's story of how she thought she couldn't ride with comfort and ease and make it easy and fun for her horse too. Well, when we changed her belief and helped her find how to clearly communicate with her horse, voila, her horse was sighing in relief that she'd finally figured it out and life was all flow. This isn't rocket science. It only feels that way because you don't have clarity. If you truly have the passion to communicate effectively with your horse, whether it's helping your horse to be confident or riding like the wind or connecting on a deep level, then you can build your dream horse. You are already bleeding money, time, and energy, avoiding, escaping, or trying to fix things with piecemeal solutions. Look, the average North American spends between $1,200 and $1,500 at Starbucks every year without even noticing it. No matter how many double expresses you have, it isn't nearly as exhilarating as soaring across the open field, totally one with your horse. Or riding as one with your horse in harmony and lightness. Think about it. What could shift for you and your horse? And what kind of ripple effect that newfound joy would create in every area of your life. You need to have the courage to go deep, let go, and get what you want and also what you and your horse really need. And when you do, your horse will expect to meet you at the gate to go riding. And that brings me to my next point. How to ride with confidence and ease while you're working towards your results with your horse. Number 4, the dance in harmony. If you're a rider trying to reach the potential of your horse, chances are you fall into one of 3 categories when it comes to learning how to move and communicate with your horse. Either you're attending numerous clinics in the past as a rider or an auditor just to return home still stuck, overwhelmed with so much stuff to do. You have no clue where to start and there's no one to reach out to and support you as you try to implement, usually unsuccessfully. You're paralyzed because the same old deep-rooted fears creep in and you're so not ready to ride much at all. Or you've been dabbling with online courses and you've realized there's so much conflicting advice. You're not sure what you're supposed to do with your horse or your body or your horse's body. So you're taking a piecemeal approach and your horse just seems to be getting more and more confused, as do you. I know, I was all of these. I found a faster and a better way. So if you feel like you don't have the luxury of slowly sculpting the horse you have into the dream horse that you want, or throwing a bunch of money into clinics and clinicians, you're going to love this. Why would you spend all that time, money, and energy being put through your paces endlessly in an antiquated system when you can get to the root of the problem once and for all and get into making great progress? I'm talking about going deep into yourself, your mind, body, and spirit, and a way to evaluate movement in its purest form, and then deep into your horse's mind, body, and spirit. Because if you know how to apply this technique, your time with your horse will be the best that it possibly can be, and you can cement the bond. Easy, the battle of the mind and the body, and prove to your horse that you can change and make change. You decide if you want to try the slow, outdated knowledge route or the fast, proven, current, and creative route. Riding is all about movement. Knowledge of movement, experience with movement, evaluation of movement for both the horse and the rider. This is what's needed to solve problems, to get better communication, to deepen your bond, and then to get results. You get to discover how to move and how to meld with that, with your horse's movement. You get to experience the joy of good rider movement, and then give that joy to your horse as you create the same good movement in your horse. It's what riding is all about. So instead of sculpting and framing to the sound of moans and groans from your horse, you get freedom with a happy horse and a happy relationship. The best part is there's no artificial posture, no imposing anything, but rather we guide the rider to find her place with confidence. Because when things change inside you, things change around you. Confidence in your ability to observe, then interpret, then evaluate, use the principles, communicate, and provide a solution. Get clear about the deepest levels of your communication. This goes back to the clarity piece that I talked about. And you'll be able to effortlessly flow with your horse and problem solve on the fly, because you'll be building the partnership around what your horse really wants and needs, not what someone else tells you he or she needs. Let your horse be the winner here, along with you. We owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our horses. You're putting your horse first with lightness, partnership, and understanding. Now, I'm not saying that this is easy or that we sugarcoat things. We set out our expectations of you clearly and we keep you on track. When you have this in place, here's a taste of what you might experience. One of our students, Jennifer, used these principles that we teach to dig deep into riding her horse, and here's what she had to say. As a mother of 2 young children, owning a young horse and working full-time, I'm not sure where I expected to fit in the time for this new training regime. Chris blew my mind. My horse and I loved every minute of it. Chris had no trouble giving me space to learn. I was so impressed at how she was able to teach from green horse and rider to a very experienced rider. Chris calls it like she sees it. The methods are based on sound, true technique, and I can't say enough good things about the whole experience. So let me repeat myself. You don't have to force your body and your horse's body into tightly constricted movements and get it right to be harmonious in flow with your horse. Not when you can use our program, where we simultaneously show you how to use your body in hand and in the saddle. And then we teach you to teach your horse. Our understanding of how the horse moves is taken from our understanding, experience, and feeling of how we move in combination with scientific knowledge and principles. We start with teaching you about your own movement and what it feels like to have suspension, ease, amplitude, rhythm, and balance. And then you give it to your horse. You're getting it all, and your horse is getting it all too. No more struggle between you and your horse. You can take the long, complicated route, but do you really want to waste all that time, all those years to get to the exciting part of why you got into horses to begin with? All while struggling to make the smallest progress and seeing it disappear anytime you go on a vacation or leave your horse for too long. Are you ready to let go of the shame of knowing that if you were better for your horse would be better too? And the anxiety around trying too hard during your ride, getting really tight and then sitting in a hot bath at the end of the day, looking how to get rid of pain. If you're fed up because you're spending 80% of your time worrying, if you're doing the right thing and trying to figure it out on your own, and just 20% of your time in quality time with your horse, get good at the basics. The clarity and effective communication that allows you to bond and take your horse and your riding to the next level. And then have the right techniques in place so that when a problem arises, you know exactly how to adapt and come out with amazing results. You're not going to sculpt your dream horse that you want by following old, antiquated ideas. You're going to get there if you can have the clarity and the discipline to hone in on your movement patterns, adjust where needed, and then communicate those confidently with your horse. Double down on what works and release the blocks that are creating your lack of confidence. So let's recap. First, clarify both your mindset and your movement. You can't bond and get amazing results with the wrong riding or mindset. Horses smell it a mile away. Next, simplify. Create a harmonic and effective communication that's committed to what is best for you and your horse, not stuff. Finally, amplify. Only after you've gotten clear on your movement and your communication that will help you to reach your horse goals faster without being dependent on conventional methods that don't work. Do you reach your highest goals with your horse? Whether you're an instructor, a competitor, see riding as an art form, or love horses and want the very best. When you have these elements in place, everything you're already doing is going to be so much easier and more enjoyable. And that sense of hiding that you have, that underlying doubt, and lack of confidence that you don't necessarily think about front and center, but that keeps you stuck and behind the scenes busy work, clarity is what dissolves that. Because everything becomes so much easier when you don't have to show up pretending you've got it all figured out. When we work with our students, the very first thing we do is work with you at a deep subconscious level to surface and release the stories and patterns that are holding you back and keeping you stuck. Surfacing them isn't enough. We're also going to condition that changes so that they stick. So we give you audio tracks that you listen to using the techniques we teach so that you're creating deep alignment between your subconscious and conscious minds. Now that energy is freed up, we get to stripping down and clarifying the movement and communication. If you're a passionate rider, instructor, competitor, see riding as an art form, love horses and want the very best for them, and you're ready, truly ready to step up your game and play from a place of clarity, it's time. Fill out the 3-minute application form you see somewhere around this video and let's talk. We'll ask you questions to understand where you're stuck and what's actually causing that stuckness. And we'll listen not just for what you're saying, but for what you haven't realized. So that you never have to feel like you're an incurable case, or that you don't have the brains to ride your horse in full freedom again, or you can't coordinate it. That breakthrough that you feel that's so close, it really is that close. It's often right under your nose, but you're not looking at it right. And this is what our call is designed to help you do. On the call, we'll talk in great detail about your vision, because without one, you're going to run out of energy, and you will. We'll flesh it out, we'll make it visceral, and we'll then get together and create a clear path from where you are today to that vision of where you know you need to end up. And if at that point we're able to support you more deeply and that's something you want to explore, we'll show you the way. But honestly, we don't work with anyone we're not 100% sure we can help. We're really good at finding joy in riding, and what we do isn't for everyone. So if we discover that what you want to do is outside our wheelhouse, we'll refer you to someone else who can help you. Worst case, you'll have spent an hour uncovering hidden patterns that are sabotaging your attempts at finding answers with your horse. This knowledge will allow you to shift how you show up with your horse and finally accept the relationship and results that you've always known you were waiting for. If that sounds like something you're ready for, fill out the form and then pick a time that works for you for us to talk. This is it. The moment of truth. Are you actually as ready as you say you are? I hope so, because there's nothing subtle about change that's coming. It's time.